Welcome to the 2022 Lancaster Archery Classic, coming at you from Spooky Nook Sports Complex in Manheim, Pennsylvania. The stage is being set for another shoot-up competition. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg White, sitting alongside pro archer Linda Ochoa Anderson. Linda, it's great to have you here. How has this event been this year?
It's been awesome. It honestly has been really good seeing everyone here just enjoying their time, and it's nice to be back.
And this is a shoot-up format, and let's take a look at how the shoot-up format works, because we have some stuff that you've seen before at the Lancaster Archery Classic, as well as some information that is new for 2022. So the target, of course, is 18 meters downrange, and you're shooting at a 40-centimeter target. But what's unique is there's a maximum points of 136 available in this shoot-up. You have the X-ring counting as 11, but new this year is the 12 ring. It's a 1.5 centimeter white dot that's down on the 7 ring area, 8 and 7 ring, and it must be called for it to count, and you only get to call it once per end. And so far we've had a couple matches, Linda, and in those matches we have only seen one person call one 12 ring, but what we've seen is if the person called it and hit it, it might have changed the direction of the way the match went.
Yeah, it does. And I just feel I try practicing that at home, and it's just so hard to aim there. It's hard to aim like in between the 8-7 liner. It's just
it's
not a
weird,
nice
isn't
spot.
it?
It is,
and we'll
yeah.
talk more about that as the match goes on, but looks like we are ready to get things underway. So let's get to the third member of our broadcast team, PJ Riley.
All right, welcome back to the 2022 Lancaster Archery Classic. Next up is our Masters Open Division. And let's bring out our fourth place qualifier, Steve Bornt of Post and Kill, New York. And our third place qualifier, Ken Brunko from Peoria, Arizona. I don't know if folks saw the numbers up there, but Steven, his qualification was 27th, and Ken's was 13th. So it just goes to show you one of the formats of our classic is you just have to shoot good enough to survive. You don't have to shoot the best scores. 27th qualifier, here he is in the finals.
And this is the Masters Open Division, Linda, and of course it's an amateur division, but it really does showcase what PJ said, how this whole situation works. Qualification's important, but once you get to these elimination rounds, that's where it becomes critical to shoot those 11s.
Yeah, I think the game can change completely in eliminations, and you have to be not just a good archer, but also shoot good under pressure, which definitely feels it feels more in eliminations.
Definitely. All right, so 18 meters downrange is the target face. It's a 40-centimeter target face. What's different from some of the normal Vegas rounds that people shoot, even though the target looks similar, is that that middle X ring counts as 11 here at the Lancaster Archery Classic. We're going to start off Brunko with a 10. There's 4 ends, 3 arrows per end. Highest score wins. If we go to a tie, we'll deal with it then.
11, inside out.
So Steve Bornt out of New York. Been shooting for 40 years. Bullseye Jim's Archery is a sponsor. He's shooting a Hoyt. On the Brunko side of things, out of Arizona, 6 years he's been shooting. In attendance is Heather and Ella on his side of the fence.
9.
Let's talk about nerves, Linda. You have been in this situation many times. How does it play?
Yeah, like I just saw it here. He shot an inside and out X, and then he shoots a 9. So anything can happen when you have the spotlight on yourself, and I don't know. I feel like I always get nervous. So I feel like I never know what's gonna happen.
8 points separator between these two. 11 the max, because he didn't call a 12.
9.
And he shoots a 9. So for these Masters Open, that's basically 50 years older Open. Let's get to PJ.
I forgot already where you are from. Remind me of that.
Peoria, Arizona, right outside of Phoenix.
I didn't know there was a Peoria in Arizona.
It's a better one.
How long have you been to the Classic before?
No, my first Classic here.
First Classic here. How'd you hear about it?
Well, my coach actually highly recommended that we come to shoot this thing, and we've watched it on the YouTube channel for a couple of years. It's just an exciting place to be.
Standing up there, are you thanking him right now or cursing him?
You know, a little bit of that goes both ways, you know.
All right, Ken, well, we appreciate you coming out. Good luck. And Steven, again, I forgot as well where you're from. Remind me of that and tell me about your Classic history.
Post Kill, New York. It's a little outside of Albany. This is probably the 5th year I've come.
Okay.
It's always a pleasure.
What do you like about it?
I love the way the head-to-head matches go. I love the way the staff treats you like they want you here. They want you to come back. It's just a great experience.
Have you been up on the big stage before? Never. All right, we're going to see how it goes. Steven, thanks for coming out. Our first end here, we have 29-28, advantage Steven Bornt.
And for Steve Bornt, as he mentioned, you know, coming here, the 27th place qualifier. And if you look at the total points available, Linda, for this category, so you had 660 points plus whatever the points were in eliminations. It's 1,056 total. For Steven Bornt, he only actually shot 990 points, but here he is trying to shoot his way up into at least a 3rd place position.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a good place and be sitting 1st or 2nd, but I mean, you have to win matches anyway. So as long as you're winning your matches, you get there.
So Ken Brunko's first time to this tournament, and he's really putting a stamp on it. Peoria, Arizona is a good spot, by the way. Peoria, Illinois, on the other hand, love that place for its dirt track racing. What a match we have going on. These shooters in 4th and 3rd after eliminations to get into the shoot-up. But Ken, as we're looking at right here, you can see a little bit of a bobble there. Our 13th place qualifier shot his way up into 3rd. And if you're not familiar with how this works, if you're thinking about coming to this tournament, you qualify, 60 arrows, and of course with that X ring in play, Linda, it counts as 11, so that's where we get the 660 from. Then you go, they take the top, so many, depends on the category. Could be top 64, could be top 32, could be top 16, and then you go single round eliminations, where if you have the top 64, one shoots against 64. That's how we are. Let's get back to PJ.
Ken, let's talk equipment here. Tell me what you're shooting. Run through your setup.
Matthews TRX 38, Excel True Ball sight and scope with a Doc's Choice lens in it, my Bee Stinger stabilizers, True Ball blade release, and my Gold Tip Triple X.
All right, seems to be working for you.
That's what we're going to keep hoping for, more 11s.
All right, congrats, Ken. We'll get to Steven next.
That sounds like a bumper sticker, doesn't it, Linda? More 11s.
More 11s, yeah, I think I need to make that happen.
Linda, but let's talk about this format, though, for a second. You know, when we come here, there always seems to be an extra bit of, hyper focus, if you will, on that 11 ring, and a lot of people shoot a lot of 11s. And then next week we go to Vegas, and it doesn't seem like people hit as many X's or, as many even 300s. Why do you think that is?
I think it's I don't know. I feel like it could be several things. Like for me, for example, I'm shooting 27s here for the first time, and I don't think I'm gonna shoot those in Vegas. But here I wanted just to get as many 11s as I could, so I did it, and I think a lot of people do that too here. It's nice to shoot those 11s and not worry about shooting a 9. No, in Vegas you have all the pressure about 9s, and basically you're thinking about that, which you shouldn't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I just think it's a different game. To me, it's at least a completely different game.
Yeah, and you come in there with a different mindset for sure. I think these guys still trying to find their rhythm.
11.
Yeah, I feel like the first match is always this way here. You just get to know where you're standing. Like you're also on a platform, so you
Under the lights.
under the lights, and it's just a different. Like you might get used to being outside with all the noise, and here it's just so quiet. Like you could hear your breathing.
It is very true, because once you're standing on a line shoulder to shoulder with 100+ people, there's always the release and the thwack into and so there's always something going on. Here it's like, we're just going to wait for you to go ahead and do your thing.
And everyone is watching.
And everyone's watching. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
All right, so Brunko, we're looking at 9, 11, 11 so far. With that 9, Bornt needs to really, he can shoot an 11 here.
That's close.
So Linda, when we look at that target, I mean, I've seen you post on social media many times, call this arrow. How do these arrows actually score where the arrow lands?
You know what? It's just so hard. Like sometimes I just post pictures just because I mean I love posting on social media, but it's hard to judge from just one angle, no? And that's why.
On both ends. I know it brings back memories. And stand release.
And what arrows are you shooting? I didn't see them.
Victory.
Victory. Working for you pretty good this weekend?
Yeah. When it needs to, I guess.
All right.
Some people are a little more chatty than others, but Linda, looking at just the different level of equipment, there's so many choices, so many ways you can build your bow. I mean, let alone just looking at a stabilizer setup, but in terms of size of a scope and what sight do you want to shoot and what bow do you want to shoot, how do you make those decisions?
I feel like it's so like it depends a lot on how you feel comfortable with. Like we can see Ken shooting 4 veins, and Steven is shooting 3 veins on his arrows. So I think it just depends on what works for you. We all shoot different, and myself, I don't like exploring that much. Whatever works for me, I just stay with that.
I was pretty shocked to hear you shooting 27s here.
I was too.
Sounds like maybe a little bit of an influence from the husband?
Maybe. And you know what? The girls are shooting so high now. Like their scores are just so good that I was like, I don't want to stay behind with my 23s, not catching lines, right? So I wanted to try that. And I mean, they work, but
yeah. All right, so a couple point advantage for Brunko. He's got that for his first target shot. Of course, if you come here to the Lancaster Archery Classic, one of the things you'll note in qualifying is you need to number your targets. Ooh.
Yeah, that's not a good arrow.
That one definitely got away from him. It kind of looked like for a moment that the shot went a little quicker than usual for him.
Yeah, it seemed like he wasn't ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
11.
Now, if you're in Bornt's spot, in Steve's spot, after seeing that 7, it would calm you right down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you have to take that and just build some confidence and use it in your advantage.
Now, Steve Bornt's in a position right now to advance, to shoot against our number 2 qualifier. So this 11 definitely could make a difference in terms of confidence.
11. 33.
So what a way to finish out with a 33. As we'll, of course, await the official score, but, sometimes, Linda, I think waiting for official score is a formality, and other times it is critical, especially when one is just barely touching that line.
Yeah, there's times where you don't know, like it could be 2 or 3 arrows that are close and you don't know what's gonna happen. Just it's a combination of arrows, and sometimes you never know.
So it looks like we have the official score is coming down the pipe, as we expect. Steven Bornt,
And it is
122 to 119. So Steven Bornt will win. Ken Brunko will finish 4th. And he will get $500 for his 4th place finish here in Masters Open, 50+ category. in the amateur division. Of course, there is a Masters Open Pro category. We'll see that tomorrow.
Our second place qualifier, we have Kirby Gillespie from Harrisonburg, Virginia. Kirby's our second place finalist.
So Kirby was our second place qualifier, and with a total points available in this tournament after qualifications and elimination rounds, 1,056, Kirby Gillespie shot 1,021. Now he'll make his way to center stage. And Linda, we've talked about it. I mean, you know, it's no one can predict where you're going to land, obviously, in the elimination rounds. If you're in a position where you know you get nerves coming into this, would you rather be the fourth place qualifier so you can get through third place and stay warm, or would you like to just go in cold as the number one qualifier and only have to even compete with 12 arrows?
I think I will always pick just be seen first. It's nice to have some warm-up matches too, but you don't know what's gonna happen. So I'd rather just take and shoot, as high as I can, just to have a good place.
So this is for third place or to advance to shoot against our number one qualifier in the Masters Open category.
10.
Steve Bornt starts off with a 10, about a half shaft out the bottom. And by the way, behind these archers is a warm-up practice bales. So these archers aren't coming in completely cold. They're able to shoot up until the moment they're getting ready to come on stage. So they have been throwing arrows downrange. For Kirby Gillespie, looks like a low 9. If you're joining us, we're here at the 2020 Lancaster Archery Classic in Spooky Sports Complex in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Indoor archery. From where the archers are standing over the yellow line down to the target face is 18 meters, or just about 20 yards.
About 20 yards.
19.9 something. So it's close, just a couple of clicks, right, Linda?
Yeah, we call it 20 yards.
Yeah, we just call it 20 yards, 100%.
You round it up.
They're shooting at a 40 centimeter target face, a 3-spot as we call it. The smallest ring in the middle is worth 11 points, and then we go 10, 9, 8, 7 out to the blue ring, which is 6. Kicking off our second match in this Masters Open division. And Steven Bornt is trying to do something spectacular. Going up against Gillespie, our second place qualifier. So for Bornt.
Kirby from Virginia. Have you shot the Classic before?
First time.
First time out. What made you come out?
It was a bet.
Did you win or lose?
I won the bet.
How's it feel standing out there for your first end up on the stage?
Like a cat shitting a razor blade.
Well, there you go. Not quite PC, but hey, that's how you're feeling. That's how you're feeling. All right, Kirby, well, we'll let you get your nerves settled there. That was at least an honest opinion.
Well, the Kirby Gillespie bumper sticker has been made. Something about a cat and razor blades. Like the honesty, 100%.
Sometimes it's hard when they ask you questions. So you're there, you're trying to stay focused, and
Yeah.
just, you're nervous, and then you have to answer questions. It's just like, can I just focus on one thing?
It is definitely different, and part of one of the many things that makes the Lancaster Archery Classic so unique. And number 2 of 4, and we're all tied up at 31 apiece. And Steve Bornt, our 27th place qualifier after qualifications, who in eliminations was able to shoot his way into this finals match. Then for Gillespie. Linda, I'm curious about your opinion of the shoot-up format, where 3 shoots against 4. Sometimes we're going to have 8, right? So 8's going to shoot against 7, 7. Whoever wins that goes against 6. What do you think about the shoot-up format?
I love it. Honestly, I love it. I think I like eliminations, but this just makes your qualifications count too. So you have to stay on top of things the whole tournament, and I really like it.
Yeah, so what Linda's talking about is what they'll do is through elimination rounds, if you're in the Final Four, they're going to rank you by how many points you scored total. So the score you shoot in qualification piled on with the points that you shoot in eliminations ranks you. And so it really is important. Yeah, I agree totally, Linda. That's a great way to look at it.
11.
All right, so 11 points scored for Bornt. 11 for Gillespie will keep things tie.
All
right. They're definitely duking it out here.
Let me find out about Kirby, what you're shooting. Tell me about your bow, what your setup is.
A Matthews TRX 38 G2. Easton 2712.
Looks like a Spot Hog Father sight, dead center bars. And you mentioned Easton. What's your release?
True Ball HBC.
All right, very good. After 2 ends, we are still tied at 62 apiece. Oh, well, no, we've got the judges making an arrow call. Excuse me.
Yeah, we can see that. Linda, looking at that, what do you think?
You know, here in Lancaster is the only tournament where you can't fix your arrow holes. So it's really easy just to go aim at the same hole. So it looked like to me that it was a 10. I don't know what the judge called that arrow.
Yeah, so what judges will do there is they literally need to make an imaginary line to visualize the line that goes around it when you are in that same hole. So the judges made their call, and
it's a final call.
That's it.
You're ready, sir.
So Gillespie versus Bornt, and now Bornt with the 1 point advantage. And he kicks it off with an 11.
You know, his timing is really good. I've been looking at his arrows, and every time he shoots within that time, his arrow is usually a good arrow.
Now you saw Gillespie, when he draws back, he uses his index finger, it looks like, to keep the arrow on the rest. Now Linda, when you draw back, you know, we talk about blades. They're you know, on the actual arrow rest are blades. Do you ever have a problem with the arrow coming off the rest?
No, and I try, if that's happening, I try to fix it because I hate it. Like, I don't want to move my hand once I draw back. I just want it to stay there. If I move it, it's just hard for me to go back. I see archers do it all the time. And I don't know how they do it. Like, I just rather just put it there and don't move it.
Yeah.
And we saw the arrow, I think he landed in the same exact hole. A little bit closer to the 10, but it's the same hole.
It's judges' discretion to be able to change those target faces if they can't read that line as well. So that's a consideration too. It's a couple of 9s. 9 for Gillespie on that one was pretty easy, but then there's going to be one that's going to be pretty close on Bornt's target.
That's an 11.
So we could have seen a 2-point swing, depending on what the judges have to say. Again, with Steve Bornt, though,
Incidentally, I was told that
27
people watching live online.
27th position qualifier. As long as you can make it into the qualification range of people, you always have a chance. Unlike some people sitting at this table who didn't quite make it. And I'm, of course, referring to me. But that's another issue. There's always another tournament down the road.
We have to switch there. Kirby Gillespie.
All right, so as the final scores, or the official scores come in, there was a 3-point swing from Gillespie to Bornt, which now changes the score advantage Gillespie by 2, 93-91.
It's amazing to see how the match changes from end to end. Like, there's nothing, you know, like sometimes you just say like, oh, he's winning and I'm done. Well, you never know. So you just have to keep trying because every arrow counts.
And keep in mind, available for each one of these archers is the 12 ring, that unique 12 ring that they have to call. They only get 1 call per end, of course. This is it. So
Another 9 there. You know, I wish that a 12 ring was worth at least 13 points.
Oh,
then
do ya?
it's worth, yeah, then it's because otherwise it's just 1 point, you know, and you can shoot a 7 or an 8 that easy.
Yeah, that is true. And most of the archers that I spoke with on the pro side of things, and I asked if you were in this shoot up and you had the choice, which target would you do it on? Most said depending on the score itself, but more than likely the last one. You know, it would be your third arrow of each end if you needed it.
Yeah, I think it will be the last one. It's just too risky to do it in between, you know, in the middle of the match. Still down there. It's just hard. Like, once you have the hole there, it's just so easy to keep aiming at it.
He's now only 1 point on this last arrow. So important for Bornt here. Oh. So we're 10 or better for Gillespie's going to seal it.
Oh, that was shaky. Yeah, I could see his arm moving a little bit.
So we're looking at, before official scoring, a tie. So as we wait the word. Again, 12 arrows, 4 ends of competition. Oh, that last arrow for Kirby, you called it, Linda. I mean, you could see it. So we do have a tie, 121 to 121.
Shoot off will be 1 arrow at a time. If we're still tied after the first arrow, we'll shoot a second arrow. If we're still tied after 2 arrows, we'll shoot the third arrow and measure closest to the center. Yes. So 1 arrow at a time. Good luck, gentlemen.
And that is all based on score, Linda. So obviously, you know, if one shoots an 11, the other shoots a 10, the 11 wins. So we do that twice if we need to. So it's one single arrow, whoever has the high. If they tie, they'll go to a second scoring arrow. If they tie, then we'll go to closest to the center.
Yeah. Which we've seen it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We certainly have. These things have gone the distance plenty of times, by the way. All right, now this is to advance to compete against our #1 qualifier and guarantee yourself second on the podium.
That's a high 9. That looked good. Yep.
You can tell from the
That
release.
was a good arrow.
Yeah, so Gillespie is able to claw his way back into it and breaks the tie with an 11, and that'll end the run for Steve Bornt out of New York, who's done a great job. Our 27th place qualifier after qualification shot his way into the shoot-up, 4th place, and he will get 3rd for his efforts. Let's go to PJ.
Let's bring out our top qualifier, Tony Harris from Beckley, West Virginia. We need Kirby back.
Poor Kirby. Poor Kirby Gillespie started to roll out of the range, not realizing he had to continue on shooting.
He still needs to shoot one more match.
He was so happy winning that elimination, or limiting that tiebreaker. Anyway, the proper shooters are actually in the shoot-up area, this finals area. This is for, of course, the win in Masters Open, Amateur Division. I'm Greg White, sitting alongside professional shooter Linda Ochoa Anderson, represents the United States on the USA Archery team. World events coming up for you, Linda.
Yeah, we are going to start thinking about other seasons soon. It seems funny, but yeah, we have Arizona Cup and some World Cups this year too.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun with USA Archery World Cup for Linda Ochoa Anderson. All right, here we go. 3 arrows per end, 4 ends. Highest score wins. If we're tied, we go to the tiebreakers. for the title of Masters Open Amateur Division. If you're just joining us, it is Tony Harris, your number 1 qualifier, against our number 2 qualifier after our elimination rounds, Kirby Gillespie. Virginia going against West Virginia.
Starting strong.
Great shot by Tony Harris. Interesting release on his first arrow. We'll see if it continues with Harris. We'll talk about that. Our number 2 qualifier worked his way past third place. Oh. We go 1 for 1 in the early rounds of this boxing match. It's Tony Harris.
Hmm. 8-9 line.
I'll tell you what's interesting, Linda, is that most of the time in qualifications or even eliminations, you'll see a lot of these archers with binoculars, but not in this situation.
Yeah, you only have 30 seconds per arrow, so I don't think you wanna.
Bother with it?
Yeah, you wanna be ready as soon as the other archer shoots. Then your time starts counting. So I don't think. And you usually have a person behind you.
That's letting you know. Additionally, actually, just in front of the archers, there's a monitor that is locked down on their target. So if they choose to look down there, but you can tell with this Masters Open category that there's a lot of squinting downrange at times to see where that arrow landed.
Well, it's hard with the lighting too, and the shadows, so you don't know exactly where your arrow is.
Let's go to PJ.
How you doing? What's that?
So I can see everything but the level.
Tony, 2017 Classic, winning the Masters Division, or what division was that?
Masters Division.
Masters Division. How many years have you shot the Classic?
5, I believe.
What is it that you like about the format of this competition?
Just a great shoot, man.
Great shoot. How's it feel up there on the stage? You've been here before. Is it easier this time or no?
About the same.
All right, Tony. Congratulations on a great weekend so far. Heading into the second end, Tony holds a lead, 30-29.
And Tony Harris shooting for Darton Archery, an archery brand that's been legendary, that's found a recent resurgence in its popularity, and of course, one of the USA Archery's #1 shooters who shoots for Darton Archery. It really gets the word out there. This is for the win. This match, we're in our second end of competition for the Masters Open category. What'd you see on that, Linda? Just looking at the way it's a unique shot. What are you laughing about?
I'm not laughing. I just think it's amazing how I can see everything here. Now, like, well, do I shake that bat too? Or it's just you see it really good here on the screen.
8.
Oh, same place.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think what Tony Harris was saying is he said he could see everything but his bubble level. And so tell us a little bit about that. What is he talking about?
We use a bubble which is a level, so we know our bow is straight. When your bow is still to one side or the other one, then you miss left or right. So, the lighting here is so different than outside, so sometimes whatever worked for you out there is not going to work in here.
Yeah. There is some overhead lighting there too, so it is difficult sometimes to see the bubble. Generally, though, at 20 yards, 18 meters in this case, it's not as effective as we find it at, say, 50 meters, correct?
Yeah, I don't think it is, but having these big arrows, I feel like it does affect a little bit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Tony, tell us about your equipment.
It's last year's Vegas 3D. I'm shooting the True Ball sight with XL, LP sight, and Triple X.
Triple X arrows, and you got the smackdown bars there.
The contour, yeah.
That's great to see. Darton and Conquest bars there. They are Conquest. Darton and Black Eagle are one of our major sponsors of the Classic. Randy Kitts there is a great supporter, so it's good to see dart and bows up there on the line.
You can see the scores right now as Kirby Gillespie is starting to pull away from Tony Harris at the moment. Of course, you know, it's definitely, Linda, let's talk about confidence. You know, you shot 2 arrows into the same target and they're out left 8s. How do you overcome that?
You know, I feel like it's hard whenever you're thinking, if he's thinking about the bubble, all of those arrows went to the left. So he must have been thinking about that, and then just that takes focus out of your shot process. So I think you just have to go with the feeling. Just focus on each arrow at a time. Still on the left side, so I think it's affecting his arrows a little bit.
I agree, yeah. I mean, the shot itself, he looked relaxed, right? He held a firm bow arm, and it just hit a little bit to the left. Nice shot. Now, it looks like there's a little difference, right? Kirby Gillespie with a hinge release. Oh, yeah, you can see him. Do you see him just move his bow over?
Yeah,
looking for the
he's
bubble.
looking for it, huh?
Mm-hmm. And that works.
Oh, he found it. It worked for him.
Yeah, we could see the bow moving from side to side. Something you don't really want to do all the time is put torque in your arm to twist it, but sometimes you just have to.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to make it work, but I just try to level my bow to my arm, so I don't fight the bubble, because I don't want to be fighting it and then focusing on my shot. And, you know, it's one more thing to worry about. So.
Yeah, I think when Tony Harris looks back on this, he'll definitely be thinking about the bubble and how he had to fight it. We can see him just moving that bow around. Generally, would you say having a good level with stabilizer set up and torque in your arm is 11. You want to pull it back, get to anchor, and just have it level, right?
Yeah, I think I level it as I anchor. I'm looking at my bubble at the same time.
Those who don't know, that's 50 and over.
So a good comeback in terms of points overall for Tony Harris, now getting into the 30s at least. But when you're going up against, you know, Kirby Gillespie, who just throws down a 33, it's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one.
It is tough.
You know, for me, I think, Linda, looking at this, you know you're in a situation where it's either first or second. And you're Tony Harris at this point. I would probably step on the button and just go for a 12.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Why not? You might as well just try.
Yeah. But again, what's so interesting about this whole 12 situation is if you're up there and you're just shooting in your own rhythm, unless someone's behind you telling you, I think it's pretty easy to forget you even have the 12 available.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, do they even, like, they need someone to remind them that they can shoot that 12, because you're just getting a rhythm and want to see yellow all the time. So it's easy to forget. He's adjusting his sight there. I think he moved it to the left, trying to compensate those shots on that side.
Wow, that one paid off, but I thought for a second, long hold.
Yeah, I think he was holding for too long, but it worked.
But with 30 seconds per arrow, like you're saying, Linda, it just sometimes it's not going to pay to let down. There's just not enough time.
Yeah, I don't think I will let down. I think I will just fight it.
Tony Harris, another good one for his second target, which he chooses to up top. When you shoot archery, it's your choice. For most tournaments, it's your choice in which order you're going to shoot these 3 spots.
11.
As it relates to this tournament itself, when you're in qualification rounds, if you choose that order, then you have to shoot in that order because that's how they're going to be scored. But sometimes, Linda, do you find yourself shooting a 3 spot, you get into a bit of a rut, you know, like, and you want to change up the order in which you shoot it?
No, I actually always shoot it the same way. I shoot this target for Vegas. Since they announced that they were gonna have this one here, I just kept my same order.
Great shooting, guys.
Great shooting by both shooters. But it looks like Gillespie has got this one. We're going to wait for official scoring, of course. That's going to give us the answer. But you can see just some miscues by our number 1 qualifier, Harris, who came into this one with, of course, total points available for this class was 1,056 after qualifications and elimination points were summed up, and Tony Harris had shot a total of 1,024. But Kirby Gillespie, it's official now, he's going to win the Masters Open class with 125 points over Tony Harris at 118. So congratulations to Kirby Gillespie.
And our champion, Kirby Gillespie, $3,000 Masters Open. Kirby, how's that bet feel now?
The bet feels great, and I got one thing I got to say. Let's go, Brandon.
All right, Kirby. Hey.
All right, so we await the arrival of Kirby Gillespie to get on the microphone. This ought to be interesting. Well, that's how you get that one done, Kirby. Congratulations. Great shooting.
Thank you.
How was it? How'd it feel for you overall?
I was nervous as all get out.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that, yeah. So tell us about this bet. What was the bet that got you here?
People said I couldn't do it, so I said I'll go and show you.
And you certainly did. So tell us about the pressure of this match at the end there. You obviously had a big points lead going into those final 3 arrows. How was it?
The beginning, I had to settle down, get going. I knew I could shoot it. I just had to get going.
So now that you've been here, you've won, obviously, the $3,000. Are we going to see you at the Lancaster Archery Classic again?
You bet. I'll be back next year.
All right, sounds good. Congratulations. Your winner
Thank
in the
you.
Masters Open category.